in that area, so some high wind speeds as we roll through, but live radar showing some very heavy rain closer to Murray City. Now, the severe thunderstorm warning, that is going to expire. We just saw it expire. So the tornado warning still in effect that will push up towards McConnellsville. That one is until 6:30 this evening. Now, you can see when we have that radar sweep go past it, take a closer look at Murray City. That would indicate, that gray indicates that we are seeing some possible large hail. So I'm going to zoom in closer, giving you that street level view of State Route 216 and also 13, where we'll have some heavy rain and the possibility of hail. We did see some hail popping up just south of here. There you go, just south of Athens, along US 33 in Longview Heights. So some hail in that area, which we knew would be the primary threat with these storms. We also knew we could see some rotation. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer, though, to the northwest of Salt Lick. This is just south of Junction City and by New Lex. We have hail there as well, and some pockets of hail off into the Tarleton area, and that is just east of Chillicothe, where we have some hail and some heavy rain showers. But a tornado warning, if you're just tuning in, for areas down to our southeast that clips Athens, that is until 6:30 with radar indicated rotation, a severe storm that is capable of producing a tornado. We'll move on up, though, where we have a severe thunderstorm warning, giving you more details on this particular warning that is now pushing into Knox County. It is clipping southeastern Richland County, southern Ashland County, southeastern Morrow County, and central Knox County. That's until 6:45. Now, this has the capability of quarter-size hail. Not as much concerned with the rotation of storms with this line. This would be more straight-line winds that can cause really just as much damage as if you were to see a tornado push through. But otherwise, southwest of Mount Vernon is where we do have reports of some hail coming down, as you see that blob of gray there on our radar map. Now, the locations impacted by that warning will be Mansfield, Mount Vernon, Fredericktown, Belleville, even Waterford, Butler, getting into the North Liberty area. And in that area, we're not just dealing with a severe thunderstorm warning. We also have a tornado watch that remains in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, given that we have the chance for some rotation with another line of storms. I'm going to go ahead and step into the key so I can point things out, but I'm going to ask, we have really our whole team on standing by right now, where we're going to drive this radar map. So here's a look at Mount Vernon. This particular cell is moving at a very fast pace at 70 miles per hour. So if we can get the storm tracker on there, we'll take another look at what the cities are that are going to be impacted, because this is skirting right along I-71. If you're closer to the Tanger, Sunbury outlets, probably getting some heavy rain, if not hail, in that area as well. As we put that tracker into motion for you, we will start to see this move into Fredericktown at 6:13, Mount Vernon at 6:20, Perrysville at 6:39, and Loudonville at 6:52. So that's the severe thunderstorm warning. But let's travel a little farther south, where we have the tornado warning that is in effect. So we want to bring you up to speed for the one down to our southeast that is clipping Nelsonville and McConnellsville. This is until 6:30. So we've had a little bit of rotation. We typically are looking for a strong, what we would call a hook echo with these storms, and you don't see a real strong hook with this system in particular. So this is capable of producing a tornado, but nothing that has made contact with the ground yet. We have a couple pockets of hail as well. This is just to the northeast of Nelsonville, also just east of Lancaster. If you go south of Lancaster, west of US 33, a couple pockets of hail. But that tornado warning means that you need to be taking shelter. Now, we're putting a tracker on with that cell as it moves to the northeast. This will start to move into McConnellsville as we get closer to 6:18 and then 6:39 in Caldwell. Now, these storms have been moving anywhere between about 35 to 70 miles per hour. They're going to move through rather quickly. So if you start to see those skies become ominous, go ahead and take shelter. You're not going to have to be there too long, and let's hope for very low damage with this, because we will have even straight line winds in some of these areas that aren't dealing with rotation. As we zoom out, let's get a broader view, as we've had a couple different lines of what we have been tracking so far this evening. The first line had some tornado warnings pop to our west. That is now pushing into Pennsylvania. That was actually impacting Champaign County earlier, down into Fayette County. And now we have more lines developing with this front that is really along Franklin County eastward, but we're not done with that line. Here's another line that is starting to develop with some hail that's going to push into Urbana. So 2 different warnings that we want to be aware of. The severe thunderstorm warning that's moving at a very fast rate, 70 miles per hour to the northeast. So that's going to come through very quickly. Think about driving your car at 70 miles per hour on the freeway. Fast moving system right there. And then down to our southeast, the tornado warning. That one moving probably more so at about 50 miles per hour. And you can see that one's going to expire at 6:30. Right now we are at 6:06. McConnellsville is in the area of that. I'm going to toss it over to Ross because I know that you have been looking at the National Weather Service chat. We have Mackenzie that's also standing by and gathering some more information. But Ross, what are you seeing from the National Weather Service right now?
Yeah, so it still looks like we're tracking this tornado warning that is over parts of Morgan County, and this is moving at about 55 miles an hour to the north and east. So it's not a slow-moving storm, but clearly you can see that we've been looking at on our radar. It's been a very active evening for us, and we're looking at the potential for some heavy rain, some strong winds, and we can also be looking at some hail potentially with this as well. But again, we have been watching the potential for some rotation with this system as well. Again, radar indicated, and you can see here by taking a look at our radar, if we can get this to display a little bit closer, you can kind of make out we're typically looking for some of those greens and reds to go with each other. That's where we could see possibly a little bit more rotation. In fact, we'll get this to go and play from one of our latest radars. Okay, it looks like we don't have an update with that. So we'll switch things back over and take a look and see what we have as far as the actual radar itself. So again, we have been looking at some pretty strong storms that have been moving through. And again, we're going to continue to see some heavy rain associated with this as well. This tornado warning in effect until 6:30 this evening.
All right, thank you, Ross, for giving us that update. We have Doppler 10 meteorologist Mackenzie Bart standing by to give you some advice on what to do if you are in this area that is specifically in the tornado warned cell on how to take shelter. So Mackenzie, go ahead.
Yeah, so if you are in that tornado warned area, if you receive that here or on your phone, a few things that you need to know to keep you safe. If you have that, you immediately want to get to that safe space. So based on this diagram, that is going to be something interior. You don't want to be in any of those red zones that you're seeing right now. So in a hallway, somewhere close to a stairwell, a closet, a bathroom, something that's really going to be protected in that interior of your home. You also want to make sure you're covering yourself, whether that's a blanket, a helmet, mattress, something to cover your head, neck from protection. A few places you don't want to be anywhere that has that exterior wall closest to it. So the living room, kitchen, want to make sure you're staying away from all those windows. Basement also going to be the best place to be if possible, if you can get down there, if you have one of those. Definitely going to be the safest place. Now, if you're traveling or know someone that's traveling, they get that alert to their phone. If there's little or no traffic, you want to make sure you're getting out of there as soon as possible. Travel at a right angle away from the tornado, because most systems that we see travel off to the north and to the east, so you want to make sure you're backing away from that. That is if there is little to no traffic on the roadways. If you are seeing heavy traffic, you want to make sure that you're abandoning that vehicle, seeking shelter in a low-lying area, a ditch close by. Make sure you're lying flat, cover your head, cover your neck. That's what you want to do if you are in an area with heavier traffic. Make sure you're getting out of that vehicle if possible. And you never want to make sure that you get under a bridge, because that can only amplify the winds, amplify the debris that you're seeing. So again, if you know someone in their car, give them a call, then make sure that they're getting away as soon as possible, taking shelter in a ditch or a zone. Of course, we're going to keep you updated on that. We do have that tornado warning. For that, let's send it back to Chief Meteorologist Ashley Barcy.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. So yeah, we're going to take you back to live radar, where we want to show you what we're tracking at this moment. Two different warnings that we're bringing you. Let's start with the tornado warning down to our southeast, where we have some rotation that has been picked up by radar and some hail. Now, this stronger pocket right now is in the McConnellsville area. This is moving east-northeast at about 50 to 55 miles per hour. So a rather quick moving storm. If you are in McConnellsville, you want to take shelter immediately, as this is a current tornado warning heading your way. We've already started to see the stronger part of this past Murray City. This is set to lift in about 20 minutes at 6:30. But as we take a closer look at the state routes here, this will begin to approach State Route 83 within probably the next 10 to 20 minutes. Let's put our storm tracker on if we can. We obviously have seen some quarter-size hail with that system along State Route 13, but we will continue to watch that moving to the northeast at about about 70 miles per hour. So in that path, we'll see this move into Rich Hill around 6:32, Westland at 6:39, and Byesville at 6:44. This is going to be the biggest threat that we're tracking at the moment, and that hail seems to be getting bigger as this continues to move to the northeast. Now, of course, we have another significant threat, and that is the severe thunderstorm warning that is just north of here, but that one is moving at a faster rate. So we're going to travel farther north to take a closer look at the severe thunderstorm warning that is impacting other counties, including Knox County, also pushing up towards the Worcester area. So that is not going to be storm warned quite yet, but that severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45. Right now, we're starting to see the heart of that cell into Mount Vernon with some hail and some heavy rain. No lightning strikes on this map as of right now, but you could hear some rumbles of thunder. This will eventually start to move into Belleville. If we put our tracker on here, you'll notice that this is going to eventually move into State Route 39 and also along State Route 3, which is State Street in Westerville. We've already seen that kind of past the Westerville area, now moving to the north. So 613 in South Bay is when you'll start to see this. Loudonville 632, and then Hayesville at 638. Let's zoom out one more time because we've had a few different lines that we have been tracking with this system. It's a cold front. This front has been stretching all the way down to the south. It started off west, and we had all of the tornadic activity in Texas. Now we're starting to see this move eastward into our area, but there's a few lines with it. So we had one line that's already started to push into Pennsylvania. That's what impacted the Champaign area earlier. It's moving that fast. Now this line has really started to develop off to our east, which was to be anticipated. We have a tornado watch off to our east until 10 o'clock tonight, and a severe thunderstorm watch for all of the metro area on west until 9. So we have another line that has developed, now pushing east of I-75. Several lightning strikes on the map here, as well as some hail that is coming down. But as we look over into Licking County, down through Lancaster, and now stretching up towards Knox County, that's the line that is the strongest as far as maybe some straight line winds that'll roll through. And you can see there the lightning on the map. But down to our southeast, that's where we have more of the concern of some rotation with this storm. As I'm looking at radar, you typically want to look for a stronger hook, what we would call a hook echo. You start to see a little bit down to the south there, but we haven't seen really any strong rotation. If we put our velocity map on, that's typically when we're looking at red and green and trying to see some bright colors out there to indicate maybe winds going away and towards the radar map. This one not really showing much of that distinction, so we probably do have just more so gusty winds at the moment. As you can see, the brighter shades of red within that tornado warning polygon that we have here on the map. But McConnellsville is our area of concern as we are speaking right now. Tornado warning until 6:30, and some large hail heading your way. So maybe if you're just northeast of McConnellsville and the heart of that cell hasn't hit you yet, and you can park your car in the garage, it would be a good time to do that. And then, of course, take shelter, especially if you're in this immediate area where we have the more severe storm that is rolling through. A few lightning strikes there as that's pushed past 13 and moving into McConnellsville, and some heavy rain down into Chester Hill. Let's move back up to the north where we have that severe thunderstorm warning, and that is clipping Mount Vernon, now pushing to the northeast. At this time, I want to check in with Yolanda and Andrew because I was told that you have heard some things, I think, specifically from viewers. Have you been getting any kind of viewer comments on social media as far as what people are seeing around town?
Yeah, kind of going back and forth. You know, we have the live feed up of what you're doing and the warnings that are coming through, and people are just telling us a little bit about what they're seeing in their areas. And one of the areas, Gloucester, Ohio, I'm not sure exactly where that is in our area, but sirens going off in that area a little earlier. And Morgan County, they're just seeing thunder. Columbus, Westerville, these areas reporting that they saw the same hail that we saw, but people just hanging on and just waiting this out.
Also been monitoring AEP outages, Ashley, not really seeing any widespread outages across this strong line of thunderstorms. Usually that happens on the back end of these storms as they move through the area. But of course, we'll keep monitoring that situation as these strong storms move through.
All right, thank you so much. So, of course, if you're in one of these areas that is starting to see the severe storms, we want you to take shelter. But this was outside of our 10 TV studio just about a half hour ago where we saw some strong hail coming down at a very fast rate. And so this is kind of the history for that severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect, pushing up towards Worcester, where we could see some large hail. This was more of the penny-sized variety, but we could see up to a quarter-size hail. If you happen to snap a picture of some hail in your area, send it our way on social social media, and we'll show it here on 10 TV. Let's get back to live radar, though, as we want to make sure that we have more information for you. They just canceled the tornado warning in Athens. So even though we have that red polygon there, that's an updated warning down to our southeast. So the good news is if you are in the Athens area, we have just started to expire that. I'm going to send it over to Ross. He's been following the National Weather Service and the chat room that the meteorologists are in, and give us an update, Ross.
Yeah, it looks like actually that they've continued the tornado warning for Morgan County, but they have expired for, Athens and Perry County. So good news there for those of you in Athens and Perry County. We are in the clear in regard to that, but we're still watching this threat exist in Morgan County now, so kind of getting a little bit closer to where we're seeing this discrete cell possibly producing a tornado. But again, still at this time, still looking at what is considered to be a radar indicated tornado. And again, taking a closer look here as we get close in where you can see this is literally just right over McConnellsville area. Again, we'll put this in the motion over the past hour just to see how this is moving. And this cell itself is moving at about 55 miles an hour. So we're going to continue to see this. And again, this was a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that was located near McConnellsville, moving northeast at about 55 miles an hour. So again, to put that into motion, just to show you where this storm could potentially be heading as we head further into this evening. Again, about 55 miles an hour. That's a pretty fast moving storm. You can see moving towards Young Hickory at just before 6:30, just over 6:30, 6:34 Cumberland, 6:40 at Buffalo, and 6:45 Byesville. So again, it does look like this system will be moving in through parts of what would be southeastern Muskingum County, and then again pushing just to the west of that of Noble County and Caldwell. But again, continuing to see this storm maintain its strength to where we're having the warrant for this tornado warning to remain in effect. Again, this will be in effect until now at 6:30. So we got about 13 minutes left with the cell. And again, we're not currently seeing any other tornado warnings. Fortunately, things have been a little bit less quiet as far as the tornado warnings, but we are still looking at some severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect again as well to the north. Again, that's primarily up towards Knox County and Richland County as well, as we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that. But again, this tornado warning that is in Morgan County, that's going to be in effect until 6:30 this evening. We're again not only looking at the potential for tornado activity, but also that of some strong damaging wind gusts in excess of 58 miles an hour, and also the potential for some large damaging hail. So again, we have been seeing some reports in different parts of the state as far as the potential for some hail, and it looks like just south of where we're having this current tornado warning in Vinton County, we had reports of hail about 3/4 of an inch. So closing in on an inch, again going into that severe criteria where again it was within the cards of what we could potentially be facing as far as the potential for not only damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour, but also that of hail. And of course, with that low risk of tornadic activity, 2 to 5%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but again, when you're covering a large state like Ohio, there is the probability for that of some tornadic activity, and that seems to be the case for us again through this evening, as we're continuing to see the potential for not only hail, winds, but also that of some downright heavy rain and those winds associated with some tornadic activity as well. Ashley.
All right, thank you so much, Ross. I want to take you back to the severe thunderstorm warning that we're also tracking. I mean, we've been talking a lot about that tornado warning, but we have the threat for some straight line winds up to our northeast as well. So that severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 6:45, and that's for southeastern Richland, southern Ashland, and northwestern Knox counties. Now, this line is moving much quicker than what that tornado warn cell is. This is moving northeast at about 70 miles per hour. So the locations that will be impacted by this is Mansfield, Mount Vernon, Fredericktown, and North Liberty. What I want to do in a second, you can see what the tracker is going to be like, and then in addition to that, I'm going to give you a 3D view of the storm. But the tracker, as far as what we're going to see, the timing of this, the people that are going to be impacted, the cities that I had just mentioned, here's more so the timing of it. So Perrysville around 6:27, and then we're going to get all the way to Congress by 6:46. Let's go ahead and take that tracker off, and we're going to put the 3D radar on to see just how high in the atmosphere these storms go. And we show you this because this would indicate some strong updrafts, which can also indicate maybe some of the areas that could see hail. Right now, this appears to actually probably be weakening some, about 30,000 feet, I should say, into the upper atmosphere, closer to Mansfield. So you're going to get some stronger gusts with this, but we have seen storms that stretch all the way to about 60,000 feet in the air. So that 3D view, not quite as impressive as what we've seen with some storms before. We've zoomed out a little bit more and you can see that. But severe thunderstorm warning nonetheless for another about 20-25 minutes for the areas of southeastern Richland, southern Ashland, and northwestern Knox counties. And then we also have that tornado warning down into Morgan County until 6:30. That one has been lifted from Athens County, but still in the McConnellsville area. And that one also showing about 20 to maybe 30,000 feet in the upper atmosphere with our 3D radar. We've had a history, though, of a lot of hail. That's that gray that you see there on the map, kind of in the heart of McConnellsville, where we will have some large hail, 3/4 size inch hail there. But just two different storm-warned cells that we're tracking at the moment. The one just to the north of Mount Vernon, moving northeast, kind of just along I-71 and northwest of Coshocton. But several lightning strikes as you get northeast of Franklin County, so really stretching north of I-70 there. And then we have that tornado warned cell down to the south. While we're taking a look at radar, I'm just going to check in with Mackenzie. Have you been able to see anything on social media, or has anyone been talking about what they've been seeing so far?
So far, a lot of hail reports is what we've seen across the area, especially closer to Lawrenceville County. They've reported hail up to about pea size. I know we've seen much greater than that across parts of central Ohio. We've seen up to a penny-size hail closer to central Ohio. I know down at Ohio University, they just finished that warned cell. Thankfully, that tornado warning was able to lift. They were warning their students around that area. That has been able to lift, and things are clear there. Overall, on social media, we have seen some sunshine out in the London area, so it does seem like we are seeing some clearing. Good to know that folks off to the western side of Ohio are starting to see some improvements in terms of their weather. But as we continue off to the eastern side, where we still have a lot of those tornado watches in place, where we're watching for that potential, we are continuing to not only see that potential for hail, but behind some of these systems, we're also seeing a few stronger thunderstorms as well. So we're watching this one batch roll through, but keep in mind we still have a few more stronger thunderstorms to go, and that's not only where that damaging wind threat comes into play, but also where that small hail threat comes into play. And we're watching for any updates, of course, with that tornado warning. This again is for Morgan County. It's set to expire here in the next 10 minutes or so, and we're continuing to watch the National Weather Service to see if they let that expire a little bit sooner as we continue to watch that move off to the north and east.
All right, thank you, Mackenzie. So yeah, we're looking at radar right now, and you can see several lightning strikes really between New Lex up towards Zanesville, and then the heart of this, which could be the heart of the rotation that we see as well, but some really large hail possibly being picked up on radar here just to the north of McConnellsville. Now, as we zoom out a little bit more, I mean, Mackenzie mentioned that this is going to expire at 6:30. This is moving to the northeast at about 50-55 miles per hour. So that will head towards the Cambridge area. And about 30-45 minutes ago, we had a viewer photo of a rainbow in Cambridge. So this has been a line that is bringing several lines of showers, if that makes any sense. We have waves of showers and storms coming through. So just because you get a little bit of sun and maybe even a rainbow out of that first line, we could have more knocking at your doorstep, because we have more pushing in really into the Columbus area too. But here's a look at that tracker of the more severe storm that we're tracking from McConnellsville heading up towards Rich Hill and Cambridge. So Rich Hill likely getting this at 6:37, 6:51 in Cambridge, and then 6:57 in Old Washington, as that will begin to cross I-77 and then pushing out of the state. But you could be in an area that's still going to see a strong storm. Just because you're not in a storm warned cell, whether it's a tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning, we have strong storms that are really stretching across much of the state. So let's broaden this out and bring it maybe a little more closer to home for the heart of the Columbus metro area, where we are seeing a few different lines developing. So here's the one that is crossing I-75. We just showed you this moments ago where it was just west of I-75. So this is moving pretty quickly too, moving into Urbana and Marysville with some lightning strikes and some heavy rain. And then around Franklin County, we have more rain showers moving in as well. But we're starting to see this tighten up right here with some heavier rain showers that have pushed east of I-71, moving to the northeast at 70 miles per hour. I mentioned it before. I'll say it again. Think about driving on the freeway. I mean, 65 miles per hour is the speed limit on the freeways here around Columbus. So, I mean, this is moving at a very fast pace to the northeast of Mount Vernon, but clipping parts of Knox County here and then pushing up into Ashland and Richland counties. Most of the heavier lightning strikes, though, now pushing into Coshocton and parts of Muskingum County. So you can see that line right here where you're going to see some rumbles of thunder, or I should say hear rumbles of thunder, and see some heavy rain in the darker shades of red between Mount Vernon and Coshocton. But that's not storm warned, even though there's more lightning in that area. The storm warned cell is up to the north. Now down to our southeast, they have yet to expire this tornado warning. It had been brought back, though. We weren't dealing with it, we're not dealing with it in Athens County, so they kind of tapered that down just for Morgan County until 6:30, as now that hail looks like it's approaching more so the Blue Rock area, but still heavy rain moving through the area into New Lex and even into Thornville here, just south of State Route 40. And then we have some hail and lightning up by Zanesville. But that tornado warning until 6:30. So if you are in this area, you need to take shelter immediately, because this storm, even though we haven't had reports of it touching the ground, these spin-ups happen really quickly. And this particular cell is capable of producing one of those spin-ups because there's rotation in the upper atmosphere. So you want to make sure you take shelter until 6:30 this evening.
Actually, they expired the warning. The warning is expired.
Great. Okay, so Mackenzie just brought us some good news that they just expired the warning about 5 minutes early. So even though you still see that red polygon on the map, it officially has been expired by the National Weather Service. So we'll continue to follow that severe thunderstorm warning. Ross, do you have any updates to bring us on that?
No, just, we're also going to be watching this storm kind of cross our coverage line for the National Weather Service. So Charleston, West Virginia is actually in charge for Perry County. Now that this is entering Muskingum County, that's actually covered by the National Weather Service office in Pittsburgh. So depending on, I believe both of these offices are working together on an active day like such. But we'll have to keep a close eye on these storms as they continue to push out to the north and east. And we're going to be continuing to see the potential for some heavy rain, not only just the potential for some strong winds and some damaging wind gusts associated with some of these severe thunderstorm warnings, but again, some of these quick spin-ups that Ashley just mentioned about. Ashley?
All right, thank you, Ross. Well, given that these storms are starting to weaken, that's good news as we go into your late evening newscast. We'll have more on 10 TV News